Are you a homeschool mom that is frustrated because your schedule is not working? Well, maybe you're making these 3 mistakes. Let's talk about it. So in today's video, we'll be uncovering what these 3 mistakes are, how to simply correct these mistakes, and finally have a schedule that actually works. Plus, make sure you stick around for the 3rd mistake, because I think that's the biggest one of all. So I am a scheduler by nature. I love scheduling. It brings me peace. It calms me. It is my thing. Now, I used to take my schedule and I'd be like, you know what? 4 to 6 a.m. is my mom morning routine. I'm going to do my devotional during that time. I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to check my email, check my calendar, do all that between 4 to 6 a.m. Then 6 to 8 a.m., I'm going to get the kids ready. I'm going to make breakfast. I'm going to prep all the homeschool stuff, get that going. Then from 8 to 10, I'm going to start homeschooling. We're going to do our calendar time. We're going to do math. We're going to do our circle time. We're going to get all those things done. Then from 10 to 11, do you guys see what I'm doing here? Do you see what is wrong with this schedule? Ain't no room to breathe. This schedule is packed tighter than a can of sardines. This thing is like, you can't use no fork or knife to get these sardines out. Like, there is no margin in that schedule. And so that is one of the biggest mistakes you are making with your schedule. There's no white space. There's no margin. There's no room to breathe. Everything is scheduled. Every hour of the day is scheduled. Everything is packed, even if it's a rhythm. The rhythm is one rhythm after the next rhythm after the next rhythm. You know what I mean? Where is the time that there is nothing? Where's that time that allows for that to naturally happen? And so instead of planning if you're somebody who does block scheduling, instead of planning your blocks from 9 to 12, maybe plan it from 9 to 11. And then your next block doesn't start till 12. And so you've got that 1 hour wiggle room that it don't put nothing in that hour now. You got that 1 hour wiggle room where you can just breathe and just see how things are going, assess how things are going, maybe use the bathroom, maybe drink some water. You know what I mean? Some margin to breathe. Allow the schedule to exhale, you know? No, I want it to inhale. Allow it to be able to inhale, you know? Let me know in the comments, are you guilty of this huge mistake? Because I am the queen of it. Still today, it is one of my biggest things that I struggle with, is creating a schedule with margin. So let me know in the comments, are you like me? Now, this next mistake is kind of one that I've gotten really good at not doing. So pat myself on the back right quick before we jump into this. And that is having things set in stone before you actually implement them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you printed out the schedule, you laminated it, you passed it out to all the kids. I mean, the schedule is a good schedule because you took your time to create it. But the issue is, you didn't take your time to actually run through the schedule a couple of times to see if it works. And so now you've got a perfectly laminated and perfectly written schedule that you feel like you've got to use, because laminated sheets or them little pouches, they ain't cheap. You set it in stone. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make when it comes to figuring out a homeschool schedule that works for you. It's not to say that you can never laminate your schedule or that you will never get to a point that your schedule just works. But when you're initially starting a schedule, never, ever laminate it, print it out, do all that stuff. No. Okay, we're going to write it on paper. We're going to write it with a pencil. That way we know that this is just a practice run. This is just a practice schedule to try to get it right. We're testing it out. We're seeing where the holes are. We're seeing things that we didn't realize when we were creating our schedule. And then after we've tested it out, then we bring out the laminating pouches because we ain't got money to waste. Now, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because this is what this channel is all about. It's all about creating schedules, routines, and systems that actually work for homeschooling moms and making it so that it is actually something that's doable. So make sure you're subscribed because that's what you're going to get here. Now you've got your perfect schedule. It's got margin. It's laminated. It's ready to go. So what's wrong? So I've done this before and it is still something that I'm working and growing in. And I create this perfect schedule. And at the end of the day, I lay my head down and I go to sleep and I do it all over again. And I go to sleep and I wake up and I do it all over again. And then my husband comes to me and he says, babe, you've got your mommy routine. You've got your homeschool routine. Sorry if you guys can hear my kids. They're playing upstairs. You've got all these things, but what about the daddy routine? What about the hubby routine? Just like time for us to connect and spend some one-on-one time. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that we make as homeschooling moms. We devote time and schedules to getting things done, but yet we don't devote the time to developing relationships. So now on my schedule, on a weekly basis, not only do I have hubby time, on a daily basis, not only do I have hubby time, but I also have a time for me to just check in with a family member since I live far from my family. But even if I lived close to them, just send them a text, ask them how they're doing. Just time to talk with my kiddos, to have heart-to-hearts with my older kids. Like there's like an older kid block that's, that one's at night. Because after you put all the kids to bed, they're going to pop their little heads back up and tell you their lifelong saga. This middle school year, y'all, it's a whole other thing. Or this middle school age thing. It's a whole other thing. But they want to talk to you now. It's kind of amazing and annoying all at the same time. But all that to say, I scheduled that in. Like, I know it's going to happen, so I don't get frustrated. I plan for it. It's in my schedule. That is so important. It's to make sure that your schedule is full of opportunities for relationship building. So as homeschooling moms, we think we have spent all day with you. And so I have met my quota for spending time with you. But sometimes that's not always true. Sometimes they need that undivided attention that is just time to connect with the heart. But the truth is, even if you correct all three of these mistakes, but you keep adding things to your to-do list that should not be there, you will never have a successful day. Check out this video to find out what those things are that you need to take off your to-do list and take them off.